It was one of the most. How? Why? And what?
Hi, welcome back to Into the Cina-Verse. My name is Luca,
And my name is Nick.
and today we'll be reviewing Morbius, the Living Vampire. So as I said, today we'll be reviewing Morbius. Unfortunately, we don't have any Morbius pops. They haven't come out yet, or I couldn't find any. So we got Spider-Man related pops suited for Morbius, and I got Sony villain related pops. We know that a Craven movie is coming out,
Yeah.
and Spider-Man mugs. All in all, okay, before we go into like a review of Morbius, let's talk a little bit about the character Morbius. Did you know anything about the Morbius character before we got the film or the trailer?
To be honest, not really. I didn't really know that much about Morbius. I think I only encountered him once in the 1980 Spider-Man animation series.
It's the
cartoon.
90s one.
The 90s. Oh, sorry. The 90s. I think there was only one episode with Morbius.
I think there was more than one.
There was more than one?
I think there was more than one.
I did not watch
But he
them
wasn't
all.
a major villain.
No,
he wasn't.
But other than that, I did not know a lot about him.
What I know is that the episodes that Morbius appeared in the Spider-Man animated series, they are one of the most highly rated episodes of that series.
Really?
I think because as a character, as you said, he's not really that well known. When the trailer came out, to be completely honest, now I'm a Marvel fanatic.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fan-made trailer when the thumbnail came out because I didn't even know they were making a Morbius film. I saw the trailer and it seemed cool. Jared Leto seems the part.
I think most attraction to Morbius was because of Jared Leto.
Right.
I think he was the main attraction, not even the character Morbius, because most people, I'm assuming most people, they don't really know about Morbius. Only the hardcore Marvel fans would. So I think that brought a lot of attraction to the film.
Let's jump into our initial review of the movie. What do you think about the movie? First time watching.
I think it started well. You start to get to know about his background when he was a child. I do wish there was more about his background, his history. If they sort of brought flashbacks throughout the film,
it would have fitted better.
It would have fitted better. I think there would be a bit more momentum throughout the film.
It's very rushed because when we are introduced to Michael in the like opening sequences of the film, and we see him as this child, we see him meet Milo. There's only like 5-minute sequence explaining their friendship. I think not even 5 minutes. And we're supposed to believe in this 5-minute sequence that they built this big friendship that lasted years. I don't believe it. It was rushed. The film forces it on you.
I think it would be more interesting if they gave, even while they're growing up, even while they're at school, or what happens to their lives. Like, how did they come to this point, you know?
Through flashbacks, they would have given us different points in their lives. And from then on, because we start the road kind of forming, and then finally, when they're fighting against each other in the last scene, there's context. You see that it's difficult for both of them, but especially for Michael. And because of the lack of information we got about their friendship, we're just supposed to believe that they're best friends with only 3, 4, 5 minutes of footage.
I see this a lot in Sony's film when they try to make a Marvel film. And I think this is Sony's problem with Marvel characters. They know how to cast well, but they don't know how to make a story.
Right.
And this is the problem that I see a lot, even with Venom. If you watch Venom 2 with Carnage is one of the biggest villains for Spider-Man and for Venom. You brought a great actor. You made a great, I believe, for me, I did like the CG of Carnage, how they brought him out. And yet, you did not execute the story well. And we see this in Morbius as again. In the beginning of the first half of the film, it was very rushed. The second half was very dragging. I didn't feel there was a climax. I felt like it started well, then it dragged, it went a bit up, and then it dragged again, and then just flopped at the end. Especially with the post-credit scene at the end, which we'll talk later.
Yeah, that's a whole other
That's a whole nother thing. I think the best thing about Morbius, the characters/actors. You got Jared Leto and you got Matt Smith. Even though Sony flopped the story, they brought Morbius to life. I understand why critics hate it. I still did see an appeal to it.
So two things that I want to continue on what you were just saying.
Yeah.
So first off, when you say that Sony do cast well, they have fantastic casting. They do. But when it comes to the story, they flop. And it's true. And one of the reasons is that, yes, I think we can all agree that Sony do cast well. You know, Jared Leto, he looks the part. He brings, as you said, Morbius to life. Matt Smith, brilliant actor. In my opinion, he was a little bit wasted for the part. An actor like Matt Smith, you're going to use him as a one-time villain.
It's the director and producer. That's the like, if you don't have a great not that you don't have a great director, but if they don't know how to develop well, the characters are going to be a bit stale, and they're going to be highly dependent on the actors to bring them to
exactly
life.
Because the thing is that if you have a mediocre or average story, but you have a fantastic actor or actors, the actor can, in a way, support the story.
Yeah.
But if the story is then the actor is going to, even an actor, the quality of Jared Leto, it's going to be very difficult for him to carry the story.
Let's give an example of the rating. The rating of Morbius is up there because of Jared Leto and Smith.
And rating on IMDb is 5.2.
But that shows that, listen, you have a great cast, you have great actors, they tried to carry the story as much as possible, but you flopped most of the film with the story.
It goes to show with the statement that both of us made, that Sony, when it comes to the story part of the film, not the casting, because as we said, when it comes to storytelling and story production, Sony are lost without Marvel.
Totally.
They have no knowledge. They don't know how to carry a story well. No, because we can look at Morbius now. We can look at Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage.
Venom didn't develop how a superhero film should. It felt like another normal action film. That's how it felt.
Just a plain action.
If they want a plain action film, I think Sony would be great at it. But if they're going to do something with comic books, that comic books are relied so much on the story and the character development, you need to work out the details. You need to work out the facts. At least use some sort of reference. I don't care if you copy and paste from the comic books, because technically that's still accurate, and a lot of people
say adapted screenplay.
It's adapted screenplay, but at least use references. I'm going to say that the only thing good about Morbius are the two great actors that they got.
They are my favorite part of the film.
Of course.
Jared Leto is Jared Leto. He's a fantastic actor. Matt Smith, I don't know if you ever saw Doctor Who.
I did watch only the first episode of season 1.
Of Christopher Eccleston.
Yes.
Out of all of them, Matt Smith is my favorite Doctor. I haven't seen all of the episodes, but Matt Smith is my favorite Doctor. I saw a little bit Doctor Who in him.
Really?
When he was... Because, alright, Doctor Who, those of you who don't know, they got regenerated. Technically, they're still the same person. But all of them have different personalities.
Alright.
Now, Matt Smith's version was very quirky. He was very quirky. He was awkward. I think that's why I liked him so much. And he used to, I don't know, have weird mannerisms in the series. He used to dance weird a lot. And in Morbius, when it was quite a violent scene. He killed, I don't know,
Many people.
many people, as you do.
Yeah,
And
normal Sunday.
and he just broke into a dancing scene, which I found very funny. But because it was Matt Smith and the way he started to talk, like in his British
Yeah.
accent, it reminded me a little bit of Doctor Who, and I enjoyed it very much. And it was brilliant. So, the best things about this film was Jared Leto and Matt Smith. Moving on to the final bit of this review. The mid-credits and post-credit
Oh
scenes.
God, we have to go through this. Do I have to? Okay, we're leaving
And-
now. Bye.
And, our-
And those,
and hit our heads against the
I
wall.
think this it's one of the worst post-credit scenes in my opinion. I never saw
is.
a most. I don't want to say the word, but I think there's no other word I can use. It was one of the most credit scenes ever. That it was one of the most random things that you can ever do in Marvel history. How? Why? And what? I understand that now they want to put trying to put Morbius into the MCU.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I agree with that. One question is, how does anyone get out? Because the whole point
Was them getting in.
exactly.
He managed to get in reverse. He went out.
So he wanted the other Spider-Mans and the other villains to go back into their world, but the Vulture is meant to stay in this world. So
Yeah.
unless Doctor Strange did a huge mistake,
Again.
it wasn't point of the spell. So how did he go to another world? One. And two, how does Morbius know who Spider-Man is? And which Spider-Man?
Yeah. No.
Because in all of them, so you told me this, in all the Spider-Mans, there is an Osborn Tower.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oscorp.
Sorry. You told me that in Morbius there isn't. So, what Spider-Man is he referring to? Unless they made a huge mistake and it's literally an accident that they didn't want to make Morbius seem that he knows Spider-Man.
Because
But
this-
that's a
this is the
very
thing.
big
This is the
mistake that
thing.
Sony
in
did.
Tobey Maguire's universe, there is Oscorp.
Yeah, fair.
In
yes.
Andrew Garfield's, there is Oscorp.
Yeah.
In Tom Holland's, there isn't. But we know that Morbius isn't in Tom Holland's universe.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because he went
because
out of his.
Vulture went out of his universe, exactly. So there is another Spider-Man universe where Oscorp does not exist. The thing is, we don't know which Spider-Man is in that universe. It's an unidentified fourth Spider-Man.
Mena, this could be it. What if Miles Spider-Man? Because in No Way Home, they did mention a black Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So what if it's Miles? And I think in Miles, there isn't an Oscorp Tower.
If that's the way they're going to introduce him, I really hope not.
That's true. The way...
The point is that Miles
I'm-
becomes Spider-Man by accident.
Yeah.
He ran to him by accident. If we see into the Spider-Verse, he got bit by that spider. He became Spider-Man by accident. He saw Spider-Man die. Like, Spider-Man told him to become the next Spider-Man. That's how we see it into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I think it would be a steal from us if we just see Miles as Spider-Man already. If that's how we're introduced to him.
As in,
We need to see
we need an
this
introduction how
kid.
Miles... Because Miles, now we're not talking about
We need-
another Peter Parker. This is
Exactly.
a totally new type of
Exactly.
Spider-Man. So we need
We-
an introduction.
We need to see him as a kid. We need to
Yeah,
see him
of
make
course.
mistakes. We need to see him take on this responsibility as we saw Peter Parker, especially Tom Holland's
Yeah.
Peter Parker take. So we need to see this road, kind of. We need to see Miles develop, not as a ready-made Spider-Man.
But
I hope they
still-
didn't make a general mistake when it came to flipping universes and stuff. Because it would have been a massive mistake. And again, Sony are lost without Marvel.
I don't know what to say at
I
this
have
point.
another question.
What?
How did... Okay, first thing, because we see Vulture
Uh-huh.
coming into this new universe.
Uh-huh.
And he says, oh, I hope the food is better here than it was at the other place. Very calm, like you just crossed an entire universe.
Yeah,
right?
that was very weird.
One is handling it very well. He knows what happened. And then, two, in the post-credit scene, if you want to call it that,
It's-
we see him meet Morbius with his suit. So one, where did he get his
I was
suit?
going to say, that was my question.
And two,
Where did
how
he get
does
the
he
suit?
know who Morbius is? And 3, why does he think Morbius has a grudge against Spider-Man? And 4, Vulture doesn't know that, or knows, I don't know, I'm getting confused now.
Uh-huh.
But he knows he's in a different universe. So he knows that probably that his Peter Parker is not the Spider-Man in that universe. So what grudge does he have against that universe's Spider-Man? All we know is that in that universe, there's Venom. What does all of this mean? What does this all mean, right? It's the Sinister Six. Now, if it's a mistake from Sony, then they effed up. But if they did this deliberately, imagine, I don't know.
Maybe
they made it confusing on purpose.
I hope so, because it's
I really hope they did.
Because it's a huge mistake. If this is a mistake, it's a huge mistake. Explain, Sony, explain.
I think they should just up and sold every Marvel character they own back to Marvel.
So this is the business plan I propose to Sony. Sell your company to Marvel and let Marvel do their work.
Heard it here first. Probably not. I think many people are saying it.
Most probably a lot of people are saying that.
We'll end the movie review with this. Our final rating.
A 5.
I'll give it a 5. I don't think it deserves less.
5. The first 5 acting and actors. The next 5 story development. And that's a 0 out of 5 out of me. As I said, Sony.
Brilliantly said.
As I said before, Sony, sell your company to Marvel. Thank you.
So yeah, a 5 from me, a 5 from Nick. Didn't do that well. I just hope it gets better. So that's all of us from here at Into the Cina-Verse. Thank you for joining in and watching our Morbius review. So please like, comment, and subscribe.
We need to be more creative with our outros.